All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get out of here early tonight. We got to be up in Harrisburg early in the morning for a change because they want to get out of there early for Christmas. So you can just call me Santa Claus tonight because I'm going to make their Christmas dream, their Christmas miracle come true. So we're going to get up there early, and which means I'll get home early. I don't know if this video will be out before Christmas, but Merry Christmas to y'all. Let's go ahead and go get our load. Yep, we'll talk a little bit about it. As you can see, I am in Levi 2.0 right now, as I will be calling it from now on. Levi 2.0. Anyway, yeah, so I'm in this truck now because it's back and we're good. It was a heck of an endeavor, I'll tell you what, trying to get this thing out of that shop. But in the end, I think that the shop did all right. So they made their mistakes, but I think they kind of made it better. Like they handled it, is what I'm trying to say. They did what I wanted them to. So I can't be too mad about the situation anymore. But it really is kind of a doozy of a situation, and you'll hear about it later on in the video. I feel like this transmission shifts better in manual mode when it's cold. At least till all the fluids warm up, which I let it warm up for a little while before I went on the road, but I feel like it just shifts better, downshifts better. More importantly, downshifts better when I come up to a stop when I'm in manual mode. I don't know. Anybody else out there with the endurance transmission have that same experience? At least till the fluids warm up. Once they get warmed up, it's good to go. It's been like that ever since I've owned the truck, though, so I ain't worried about it. There's a dealer up this way that has a really nice Corvette for sale that I thought about buying before I bought my Mustang. But that sucker has literally been for sale at this dealership ever since I started working here at Red Eye. So like for a year and a half at least, it's been for sale there. And I know that because it's just like a mile from the office for Red Eye. So it's, I drive by it every time I go to the office, and the thing is still there. I stopped and looked at it before I bought my Mustang because, I was on the fence between a Mustang or a Corvette. And I chose a Mustang because I wanted a back seat, while my kids are still little. And, yeah, it's a beautiful Corvette, beautiful spec. It's a 2011 C6 Corvette Grand Sport. So it's got the flared wheel arches and better wheels and, a more aggressive look. Basically looks like a Z06. But with the LS2, I think it is. Is that what that is? With the 430 horsepower. But anyway, that's, it just doesn't have the Z06 engine, which I believe is the LS7 in the Z06, if I'm not mistaken, on the C6 generation anyway. So yeah, I believe it's an LS2 or something like that. So anyway, yeah, but yeah, they had that, it's still there. Beautiful car, but they're still asking the same price that they were a year and a half ago. Low mileage, 36,000 miles on a 2011. But it's like an ice blue it's a convertible, so it's an ice blue with like a tan top and tan interior, and it really is a beautiful spec. It's just right up beyond this light, so we're not going to get a chance to see it right now. But yeah, it's been there for a year and a half, and when I stopped to look at it a few months back when I bought my Mustang, the tires on it were absolute garbage. They were just dry rotted all to hell and back. But You know, so, and of course, you know, tires on these cars aren't cheap. I mean, hell, I spent, the tires on my Mustang were like $1,600 for a set of 4 tires. You know, so of course the Corvettes would have been the same, if not more. All right, everybody, we're all hooked up and ready to roll on out of this place. Put my seatbelt on. Got some seriously rough tracks coming up here. Time to stop and get her some go-go juice. Here at the stopping at the Loves in Etna, Ohio on exit 118 off of 70. Yeah, I'll tell you what, guys, this truck is running exactly how it should now. I'll show you when I get up here to the fuel island. I'll show you how smooth it sounds. I don't know how well it'll come out in the video, but we'll throw the hood open and yeah, it's never sounded as smooth as it does now at idle when you're walking around it. I like this Loves. Very rarely do you have like a backup in the fuel islands. I'm really surprised because of how close it is to Columbus. But it's very easy to get in and out of, typically. And the other day, though, I came here, and this whole street and the parking lot was just a solid sheet of black ice. Like, it was so bad that I was going 5 miles an hour through the parking lot, and I went to make a turn to leave, and the truck wouldn't turn. And it wouldn't stop. it was sliding right towards a Cascadia. But yeah, like I said, it's just 5 miles an hour. Alright, let's get her some go-go juice. It's not too bad out today, like I said earlier. It's about 44 degrees right now. I remember this time last year, we had a giant snowstorm, and it was brutally cold. Brutally cold. It was so bad that at this very exit I was getting off to get some, well, I wasn't even getting fuel. I was just trying to give my eyes a rest because it got so, the snow got so thick. I was actually going home instead of going, like, I was on my way home. And I pulled off because I just had to kind of get out and let my eyes readjust because the snow was so heavy. And when I got off on the exit, my brakes froze up on me on my old Levi on the 379. And I drove home pretty much the entire way home, very conscious about using my brakes, because every time I used the brakes, it would take minutes for them to fully release. So that was a pain. But yeah, it's 44 degrees here today, this year, so I'll take that, I guess. Of course, I like the snow, but this is nice too. That's not bad. In that Lone Star, when I was filling that up, for the exact same round, filling up the exact same truck stop on each end of the trip, that took over 170 gallons in the Lone Star for the exact same miles. Yeah, 125 gallons on this truck. And in Levi, it would have been even worse. In the original Levi. But here, listen to this. She just sounds so much smoother. Put a brand new oil cooler. It's just a smoother running truck now. Ordered some new fog lights for it too. This fog light on the passenger side finally just completely shattered. And that one's cracked and ready to shatter, so I just went ahead and ordered some new ones. We'll get those put on here soon when I can get them. Alright, now I gotta go in and get me some coffee and my receipt. And this is actually my third trip with this truck. this week, and I filled up the DEF on my first trip at the same truck stop going out, so to Pennsylvania, and I still have that much DEF left. So yeah, I've only got to fill up the DEF tank once a week with this truck. So yeah, DEF on here, the actual DEF does not add much of a cost of operation to my truck. So yeah, just saying. And got my CB installed finally. Appreciate that there, Kaler. Got that on there. So all right, let's go ahead and yeah, let's get some coffee. Well, that's no fun. I'm sure you guys saw that one. Just got a face full of washer fluid when the engine fan kicked on. Oh, let's throw this away. Yoink. My face is probably stained blue now. I got blue freckles all over my face probably. All right, now we can get out of here. Yep, hood latch. about to the customer. Usually I'm never here this early, but they wanted me here this early today because they all want to, like I said, they all want to go home for Christmas early. Early, start their break early. I'll tell you what, man. Talk about spot on timing. They wanted me here at 7 o'clock this morning. It is 6:52 in the morning right now. Can't cut that one any closer. By the time I pull in the driveway and get back into the spot, it'll probably be about 6:58. Heck yeah, man. That's what I call customer service. Brought to you by Survive to Thrive. Stay green. Thank you. Look at that, 6:56. That's perfect. All right. Kind of thinking about, saw there's a way you can buy some watermelon lights to replace those up there. Thinking about doing that. Might look kind of cool. All right, let's go get this trailer unhooked and get our paperwork for the next trailer. Alright, let's go get checked in. I got camera mounts all over this truck. I got one on my driver's door. I got one on the windshield. Freaking camera crew.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands.
Thank you, sir. All right, Tesla. Green light, bud. Good little sheets here to stop at. It's never really usually that full. Exit 91 off the turnpike there. tell you, hardly anybody here. Thing I like about Sheets is you got to be a really bad backer-upper to take more than one shot backing into a spot at a Sheets. They're like nearly 2 trucks wide each spot. They're massive, I say massive. This is where I'm going to call home for the rest of the day for my break. Alright, we made it, guys. We stopped for the day. Yeah, hey, look, there I am. Hi. Alright. Yeah, that's not recording. Okay. I was just doing another quick little thing on there while I was stopped. But yeah, guys, we got her back. And she's running pretty good, as you guys heard at the fuel island earlier this morning. She's dirty. I'll try to wash her tonight. And then, of course, I've got this fog light. Like I said, it's all sorts of broken. So, got some new ones on the way. A crack right there. So we'll get those replaced and we'll be good to go. But yeah, the truck's running good now, guys. I got no complaints at the moment. It is running like it should. And that's all I can ask for. I will get into the whole story, what I went through with the dealership, to follow up with where I left off in the last video, because it is a, well, it's a doozy. I'll say that much. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I love the Sheets, though. It's just a really nice, quiet Sheets. Out of the way. Pretty scenery in the hills. Just a very pretty area. I like it. Like I said, very quiet. Speaking of quiet, let me get up here, let the truck idle long enough. That turbo should be cooled off. So we'll get on up there and we'll talk about what went on at the dealership. All right. Alright guys, now that I can actually finally talk about what's going on, or what did go on, as you can see, my truck is back. I'm driving it again, as I just walked around the outside, was showing it to you. Yeah, she was very, very dirty right now. The roads over here in Pennsylvania are just nothing but salt. So I'm going to try to wash this at the Blue Beacon that I was going to try to wash it at overnight, but Blue Beacon, everybody has to know about you. So even at 3 in the morning, they were jam-packed, which was usually not common at that Blue Beacon in the middle of the night in Bentleyville, PA. Usually that one is a safe bet for a quick wash in the middle of the night. But anyway, yeah, so what happened was, after where I left you guys off, on the last video, was basically the dealership had no idea what to do. They said it was not the clutch. They couldn't find anything wrong. Excuse me if my voice sounds weird. Every now and again, my ears, they kind of act weird where it sounds like I'm underwater. It's been doing that almost ever since I had my surgery. It'll just have that like underwater sound, and it's really hard to judge how my voice really is sometimes. And then my voice gets weird, and I don't know, my ears are acting up for the short of it. Anyway, well, I'm trying to think here exactly where I left off. Yeah, they said that it wasn't the clutch or any of that stuff. Anyways, the next day, the dealership calls me again, and they say, hey, Mr. Carnes, we find out that the clutch is bad, and that's going to need replaced. What did I just say? They just told me the clutch was not bad. I said, okay. I said, let me ask you this. I said, how can they inspect the clutch before? Because I was told that they looked at the clutch. How can they inspect the clutch before and then tell me that it's fine, and then the next day you're telling me that it's not fine? So what changed? He said that what they do basically is when they try the clutch out, I guess they said something about the clutch is basically like balancing a tire on a car. And in that regard, they can put the clutch on at different, like different rotations, I guess they call it. And it can change the pitch or something. I don't know exactly what they meant, but it can change how it behaves some way or another. I don't know. That's what they were saying. And they did that, and it still was vibrating. So they took the clutch out, and then they finally looked at the clutch. Yeah, they weren't even looking at the clutch. They finally looked at the clutch, and they found, which I will put a picture up here because I asked them to send me a picture, which I still don't know for sure that it was really my clutch, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't really want to, put that kind of whatever on somebody. So we'll say it was really my clutch. They sent me a picture of a clutch that had a broken spring. And it had been wearing into the plate, into the clutch for quite some time, as you can see in the picture. And they said that was the cause of the vibration, which would, I guess, make sense. Which would make sense. It does. It makes sense. But why? I guess when they removed the clutch the first time, when they brought the truck in, that must have agitated it. And when they put it back on, it just kind of said, "Hey, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore." So they quoted me on a new clutch. And they did tell me, however, that because they knew that they should have spotted this the first time they took the clutch out, that they, under the warranty, mind you, that they were not going to charge me labor to take the transmission back out and put the clutch back in and put the transmission back in. So I appreciated that. I said, okay, that's good news, I guess. So what's going to be the cost of the clutch? I kind of thought the clutch would be, because I did some pricing on these clutches. This is what they call an automated transmission, which is basically a manual transmission that has a module that shifts the manual transmission through its gears automatically. But it's an automated transmission, meaning it has a legitimate clutch versus like a car would have a torque converter. But this still has a clutch. But I know that clutches on some automated transmissions can cost more. So, I priced them before they even told me that it was a clutch. And the most expensive one that I saw, granted, these were online prices, but the most expensive one that I saw was $2,000. So that's kind of what I was expecting, maybe a little more, like $2,200, whatever it might be for a markup on their end. So he hit me with the number $2,800 and some odd dollars for just the part. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, go ahead, put it in there. And to be fair, this truck had 533,000 miles on it when I took it in there. These particular clutches, at least on this transmission, they're not really well known for going much more than 600,000 miles. They are They have had cases where they've seen them at 700,000 miles, but very rare, so odds are within the next, 65, 70,000 miles, I was going to have to pay to have the transmission removed and a clutch put in anyway. So I was like, okay, this is at least probably cheaper, even if I took it to a mom and pop. It's probably cheaper since they're foregoing the labor cost. So I said, yeah, it's worth it. Put the clutch in. And I don't want a vibration. That's going to bug the hell out of me. That's not good on the truck if it's legitimately vibrating. Next day, I call them. I'm like, because I want to know what the progress is. I swear to God, you can't make this up. They put the new clutch in. I said, yeah, I just want a progress report on my truck. What is going on? They said, yeah. I could tell the service writer didn't want to tell me. They said they put the new clutch in, but there was a loud banging coming from the transmission after a reinstallation. The hell are they doing to my truck? There was a loud banging. That was his words. A loud banging coming from the transmission, kind of the bell housing area where the clutch is, with the new clutch in it. I'm like, you're kidding me. And at this point, I told the guy, I'm like, look, man, I'm trying to stay calm here, but you have to see this from my point of view. You keep telling me that there are things wrong that weren't wrong with it when I brought it in there. And now this, after you just put a new clutch in? I'm like,
bro, come on. This ain't, what are you doing to my truck? Really, what are you doing to my truck?
He was like, yeah, I know, you're right. And I'm like, look, give me your service manager. I want to talk to him. So I want to talk to him. He said, okay, yeah, sure, I'll go get him. So he goes to get him. And then like 30 seconds later, he comes back to the phone. He's on his way out to the shop to talk with, or he's walking out to the shop with the tech right now to look at your truck. Like, just give me a minute. I said, okay. I'm on hold for like 3 minutes. Service writer comes back and he goes, he's on the other line. He said, I'll give you a call, here in a little bit. I said, okay. I said, make sure he does. And we hung up. I kind of feel like he was trying to dodge me a little bit. Trying to get all of the facts together before he talked to me. Trying to figure this all out, what it was before he could talk to me. And so he could have everything covered on his end before, yeah. Because I'm sure he knew I wasn't going to be happy. 3 hours later, he calls me back. That was a long phone call he was on. 3 hours later, he calls me back. He goes, so Mr. Carnes, I just wanted to go ahead and give you a call, let you know your truck is ready, the new clutch is in, and it's running good. It's running great. It's ready to go. It's ready to be picked up. He never even mentions the banging. He never mentions it. I'm like, dude, what happened to the banging in my transmission that I was told about after I called a couple hours ago? And he was like, oh, that. It's like out of a freaking sitcom. It's like I'm in an episode of Seinfeld. Oh, that. Yeah, that. The banging that you guys created in what happened? Where did that go all of a sudden magically disappear to? Where? And he's like, yeah, funny story. Funny story, he says. Funny story, he says. Well, he's working on my $100,000+ truck. He goes, yeah, well, Eaton, you see, we got the clutch off the shelf to go put on your truck, and the part number on the box matched the part number required for your truck. Like, and go on. He says, but they put the wrong clutch in the box. I said, okay. I said, and? He said, yeah, we put the wrong clutch in your transmission. That's why it was banging. They put the wrong clutch in my transmission and put it back together. Now, typically, when you're talking about something like a transmission, when you do something wrong and it bangs because you did something wrong, that indicates a problem. That indicates something it should not be doing. It indicates the possibility of more damage being created. You know, could, right? And if it was creating a banging, shouldn't there have been a little difficulty putting that wrong clutch in my transmission? I'm not a mechanic, but something apparently didn't line up right. And yet they were somehow able to get it in there. And somehow the technician that, you know, has probably put more than one clutch in a truck, I'm going to guess, somehow he did not recognize that the clutch was, even the service manager said, yes, the clutches were different, but he tried to minimize that fact by saying, but they're only slightly different. So it was kind of hard to tell the difference. Only slightly different. Only slightly different. I was beside myself. And then I said, okay. I said, so what's the total going to be? What's my tab going to be? And he said, well, I have to figure it all up. And then I'll get you the invoice and we'll get it sent over. And I was expecting, like $3,000, figures about $3,000, which it was $3,046 with tax, for just the clutch, no labor included. But it was funny. When they took the engine out, they removed the fuel filters as part of the job and put new fuel filters back in after they put the engine back in. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. They tried charging me for the fuel filters that was, and I get it, that's not expensive, but it was like a slap in the face to me, because clearly the fuel filters, if they had to take the fuel filters out because of a warranty job, that's part of the warranty. That it just is. That's part of the deal. That's part of the warranty. And so he was telling me on the phone, and he was like, I told him, I said, so it's just the clutch, right? He goes, yeah, it's the clutch, and the couple new fuel filters. And I said, hold the phone. I said, why am I paying for fuel filters? And he goes, well, we had to take them out when we took the engine out. I said, that sounds like that's a you problem, not a me problem. I said, I totally understand that fuel filters aren't expensive. I said, this ain't about the money. I said, after all this that you have put me through and put my truck through, you're trying to charge me for fuel filters that was clearly part of the warranty work.
Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing?
And he was like, oh, well, I'll see what I can do about the fuel filters. I'm like, yeah, you do that. You see what you can do about the fuel filters. And I also told him I had just had a PM on my truck a week before, which included brand new fuel filters. So it already had brand new fuel filters in it. And I had just spent the money on that. I'm like, guys, you took the fuel filters out for a job that was under warranty. Those fuel filters should be included in that. Otherwise, why aren't you charging me for all the gaskets and all the seals and everything that you put back on, because of the warranty work? But anyway, so they did not charge me. I double and triple and quadruple checked that invoice, and there was nowhere on there did it mention fuel filters. So, good. But yeah, so as far as the bigger parts go that they did replace, they replaced, obviously the cam. They replaced the oil cooler, and of course the oil filters. The reason they replaced the oil cooler was because they found debris in the oil filters, but they found no debris in the mains and rods. They found no debris down there, which is why they said that a new long block was not warranted for this particular case, because, well, basically I didn't drive the truck long enough with the bad cam in it. I should have driven the truck longer and allowed it to do more damage, so that more debris made its way to the lower end of the engine, which would have in turn got me a brand new long block. Darn me being responsible. So anyway, yeah, that's what they did. You know, got a new crankcase filter out of it was about due for a new crankcase filter anyway. And, you know, that's actually not a very cheap job. It's not super expensive, but it's not super cheap. So I got a new crankcase filter out of it. That's cool. But yeah, so that's the deal. That's the end of the saga of JX Peterbilt of Indianapolis. Yeah, I'm not going there again. Like I said, they started to kind of, I mean, there were some things that they did that were good, like not charging me labor for the clutch. And when they finally did start to communicate with me more, that was good. I appreciate that. But there were so many flubs and times where I felt like they really dropped the ball. And I was worried about the transmission after they put the wrong clutch in, and of course they told me it wasn't going to cause any damage, but I called a buddy of mine, the one at Fort Wayne, and he asked his tech, his master tech, if it would cause any damage, and his master tech said no, it won't cause any damage, as long as it, you know, like probably if I had driven on it and whatnot, it may have, but that short little bit of time that they would have heard that knocking and banging, as long as they stopped it right away, it wasn't gonna hurt anything. So good, that's good. But I was, you know, like afraid, you know, for like the pilot bearing and input shaft and things like that. But he said it wasn't gonna hurt it, so that's good. Yeah, so I trusted them because they had no skin in the game. You know, they had no reason to lie to me, so we were good there. But yeah, it was fun. That's what happened. That's the gist of it. I've got the truck back. Like I said, she's doing like she should. And like I said, when you start the thing up, I mean, it's quieter than it's ever been, that engine. Very smooth, very quiet, and I'm pretty happy with it. So all in all, at this point in time, it seems like even after all the issues, they did a decent job, and it's back together, and that's the important thing. And yeah, and so we're back in it. Now, I've had a few people ask me, you know, do you miss the Caterpillar now? Do you miss the Caterpillar? Do you wish you still had the Caterpillar? And the answer is still a resounding no. No, Scott. I don't miss the Caterpillar. The Caterpillar was a fantastic engine, but it was a thirsty engine. And I still have saved more money in fuel with this truck than I have spent on all of these major repairs over the time that I've had this truck. Over the radiator, over the clutch. Well, of course, then that big bill I had at Keith's for the regular maintenance. All in all, I've saved a lot of money with this fuel mileage. As you'll see here when I explain the amount of fuel I've been saving with this truck. All right, guys, so you really want to see the difference in real numbers with fuel and why I still value this truck over a Caterpillar truck or any other truck that gets worse fuel mileage. Cummins, like in an older Cummins, like the Lone Star. Well, here's the proof in the numbers. I just did I filled up this truck at the Loves in Etna, Ohio on exit 118 off of 70 last night on my way out. And I always fill up there. That's where I always fill up for the most part, usually. And then I fill up there, you know, I do a full round, which is right around 1,000 miles, and fill up there again. The last time I did that in the Lone Star, I did the full round, filled up there, and then, you know, filled up again after the full round. The Lone Star took around 175 gallons. for that about 1,000 miles. On this truck, my fill up that I just did last night, it only took 125 gallons. Okay, I do that run 3 times. I do that run 3 times a week. So, I do the math. I got, with my discount, I got the fuel there for $3.46. So without my discount, it was about it was 32 cents more than that. So like 378, I think, something like that. About, yeah, 378. But we're going to use my discount to show exactly what I would have, saved, or exactly what I did save between the Lone Star to this, and from my Caterpillar, which was an even worse fuel mileage truck than the Lone Star, to this truck. Like I said, 125 gallons in this truck is all I put in. The Lone Star was 175 gallons, so 50 gallons difference. So 50 times 346 would be, all right, we'll do 50 times, can I see? Yeah, you can see that, times 3.46 equals $173 per round trip. So then you multiply that times times 3, $519 a week times 4 for the month, $2,076 for the month. That's how much I'm saving simply by driving this truck over that Lone Star. And it's even more than that compared to the Caterpillar and the Peterbilt that I had before this one. So that right there is why I'm still not regretting my decision buying this truck and getting rid of my Caterpillar. Another thing about that too, another reason why I'm really not mad at PACCAR. This was more of the cam went out. That was on PACCAR. But the problem I've been having has been more with the dealership specifically. And what is this person doing? Yeah, that person. Where are they going? Oh, I guess they're going to go take pictures. Anyway, PACCAR, the problems I was having was with the dealership. That specific dealership. PACCAR themselves, they knew about this problem. And because of this problem, they extended, along with a couple other problems, like the possibility of, dropped cylinder liners, things like that. They have greatly increased the lifespan of the factory major components warranty. And that shows that they're trying to make it right, They increased the warranty. They made, so they're doing something to help their customers, and I've got to applaud them on that front. It sucks, but they're doing all they can to make it right. You didn't see that with manufacturers like MaxxForce, when they had that despicable issue, those issues with the MaxxForce engine, which, from what I understand, was mostly in the aftertreatment system, which was far worse than any other aftertreatment system. I've heard of people that when they delete them, they're actually good engines. I don't know that to be true, but MaxxForce never stepped up to the plate to make that better. They never did anything to help its customers. But PACCAR did, and I've got to give it to them. I get phenomenal fuel mileage with this truck. They've made it right. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment, but I would buy another PACCAR. I would. Every engine has issues, and that's just the facts of the matter. You can maybe argue that this engine, might have more issues than other engines, but I don't know. a lot of it comes down to also the maintenance and how drivers and owners maintain the truck. I've talked to a lot of people that have well over 1 million miles on the same engine with the PACCAR. So it really just kind of, it's really all case by case basis. But with that said, guys, I'm going to jump off here. I probably won't get this out before Christmas, but hope you all have a Merry Christmas out there. And Happy New Year. We're going to be going on my wife and I were going on a cruise over New Year. So I'll be taking a week off. Oh yeah, the truck's going back in the shop after I just got done talking about how I'd buy another PACCAR. But it's nothing to do with PACCAR, at least not with the engine. It's just more basic maintenance. It needs kingpins and front brakes. So I'm going to have the shop do some kingpins and front brakes while we're on vacation and get that knocked out and taken care of. But yeah, so after that, we're going to have all new kingpins up front, new brakes, new clutch, new radiator, dang near a rebuilt engine. It's set for a little while. Not saying something else can't break. I mean, a brand new engine can blow up, but it feels good to know that, it is, that I do have so many new components on here now. As you all have a good one out there, be safe, keep surviving to thrive. Again, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and we will talk to you guys in another video. See ya.